So, Dan Pitcher might be leaving. And this is not even like a maybe at this point. I don't know. It started with just the Saints are going to interview him on Thursday, and it's like, hey, one team, whatever. Well, now he's interviewing with the Patriots tomorrow, and the Raiders now are interested in bringing him in. Now, obviously, the Raiders have, a brand new head coach in Pierce. And now Marvin Lewis, the ex-Cincinnati Bengals head coach, is a coaching staff member on their team. And I guess after talking back and forth, they said, hey, it'd be a good idea if maybe, Marvin, we go back to the old Cincinnati Bengals squad and we take Dan Pitcher. So Dan Pitcher now has 3 interviews, one with the Patriots, one with the Raiders, and one with the Saints. Now, out of those 3 options, I think the Patriots is the worst option possible. I love Gerard Mayo. Problem is, though, they don't have a quarterback, and they don't know what the quarterback's going to be. So if Dan Pitcher is the OC, by the way, all 3 of these jobs are for OC. These are not head coaching jobs. These are all OC jobs. So Dan might decline them for that said reason. He's going to interview with them, obviously, but at the end of the day, he's probably going to weigh his options. Do I stay in Cincinnati, finally get my shot at OC, play with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, or do I leave, potentially get more money, and go to the Patriots? Now, the Patriots, again, they have a top 5 pick. They're going to select a new quarterback, which isn't a bad thing, but here's the issue, is that Dan Pitcher is now going to have to take over as an OC for a potential rookie quarterback. And if they do go ahead and keep, Mac Jones, but they put the rookie on the back burner and have him wait for a year, this offense might be absolute crap in New England because they have no weapons, no playmakers. It's really just defense. That's really all it is. So I don't think he'll take the Patriots job, and I don't think the Patriots job is a good job for him. The Saints job is interesting because he does have Derek Carr. He also has Chris Olave. He has a pretty decent defense in a very winnable, easy division. And I think with how easy that division is, I think Dan Pitcher could be very successful as an OC for the Saints. And I think you could see, in some ways, him become eventually a head coach because of that Saints job, depending on how well the Saints offense can function. But under Derek Carr, I think Derek Carr is capable enough where you put a good OC in there and he can get the job done. The Raiders job, I hate that job for him. And it's not just because Devontae Adams might be leaving this offseason. He wants out of town. Although, he might not want out of town anymore. He went out of town when Josh McDaniels was there. But now under Pierce, he absolutely loves Pierce. So it's very possible that he stays there because he likes the new head coach. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But I don't think they really have a direction right now for the Raiders. Their defense was pretty good this year. A lot better than I expected. And now they have Marvin Lewis coming in. So that defense is going to get a little bit more of a defensive-minded coach. Their offense is my biggest issue. They have the playmakers, but we don't know what's going to happen with Josh Jacobs. He will probably lead that team. They have Jimmy G, right? They obviously have Aiden O'Connell. Thank you. I know it was Aiden. I know it was Aiden. I just didn't know the last name for some reason. All right, so they have him, right? I still think the best job there is the Saints. I think the Saints have the best job possible for Dan Pitcher. Now, again, like I said, outside of our opportunity and our job. And again, listen, he might go somewhere where he feels like he has a good chance to potentially become the head coach in the future. Or he feels like, it's an easier division. Because, well, yes, he's going to become the OC for us if he stays in Cincinnati. He still has to be the OC against Baltimore's defense twice a year, which is one of the toughest defenses in the NFL. Cleveland, who does have a very tough defense, especially against us, twice a year. Pittsburgh, twice a year. That's 6 games. He has to go against guaranteed a top 10 defense. It's not easy. It's not going to be easy. And obviously, yes, he does have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. But what happens if, and knock on wood here, I hope it never happens again, but the track record for Joe is he gets injured. What happens if we lose Joe again? Is Dan Pitcher, clearly the offense coordinator, usually takes the brunt of the blame when the offense can't get going. Obviously, Zach Taylor takes a lot of the play calls, and he calls a lot of plays. But what happens when Dan Pitcher, gets that blame? He's too new in his career. He's too early as an OC. So there's always negatives and positives for every single job opportunity. I think the Saints gives him the highest upside in the simple fact that he gets to play in a division that's very easy, not against tougher defenses. The Saints, while yes, they did finish last year as second in the NFC South, they're going to have an easier schedule. Again, like I said, they get to play all those other NFC South teams 6 times. It's going to be a little bit easier. Actually, 6 times total. That's the positive there. But, again, if he stays with us, then he does have Joe Burrow. He has Jamar Chase. He has T. Higgins. He has all these weapons. It'll be interesting to see how it ends up working out for him, right? And if we're not able to keep Dan Pitcher, I just think Zach Taylor is going to become the OC. I think Zach Taylor is going to be the head coach and the OC. He already pretty much he already, agrees and calls the plays. With Brian Callahan, all Brian Callahan would do is come up with 3 different plays, go to Zach Taylor and say, hey, Zach, here's the 3 plays I have. What do you want to call? And then Zach Taylor would be like, great 3 plays. Let's call a screen pass. And then Brian would be like, wait. But that's not what I have on the list. And he'd be like, great, screen pass. It's kind of how I imagine it works. It doesn't work like that, at the end, the last statement I said, but it's how it looks in my head. Yeah, no, I think Zach Taylor is just going to be our OC. And I think that's just how it's going to work. And the problem with this, right, is if we do lose Dan Pitcher, we just lost Brian Callahan. We do lose Dan Pitcher. My biggest issue is we're so late in the process right now for all of these OCs who are going to get hired and done pretty much this week. We're going to see a lot of these OCs leave and go to other teams. Yesterday was the first day that team meeting or the in-person interview started up. So that's my only problem. We're so late in this process. Whoever we do get as OC, if we lose Dan Pitcher, probably isn't going to be that great. Or they might be good. But again, like I said, it's just so late in the process. We're missing out on all the big name guys, which definitely does suck. But tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one.